Okay, here's another Monte Carlo simulation, and in this case, this is a model I did. I was leaving Albion College, and they were just starting something similar to our FYE. Theirs was a little different. It was all freshmen or all first-year students. Took their choice, as much as they could get into the class, their choice of a special class. So these were they were meant for the first year students, and they were they could be any topic. So a mathematician might teach a class, a biologist might teach a class, an artist. And so, for instance, one of the language professors taught a class, and it looked at some differences between three cities in kind of Germanic areas. She was a German teacher, and they actually then, so this was in the fall, but they actually then, that class, anybody who wanted to, then in the spring, they had to pay for it, of course, but took a trip to Europe and visited those three cities, this tale of three cities that she taught. So that was interesting. Another class was a biologist and an artist co-taught a class. And the idea was they would, the students would learn about critical thinking and so forth, and it would just help them get ready for their college courses in general, similar to what our FYE does. Okay, so though, I was leaving, and just before they started this, and that I was leaving that spring, and all of a sudden it hit me, because each year I helped with scheduling, and I worried students couldn't get a full schedule. Okay, because the problem was that these classes were at all different times. And I knew from scheduling students that was probably not a good idea. They probably should have all been offered at a single time, and no other courses that first-year students would tend to take should have been offered during that time. That was my guess. Well, so I wanted to check this out, and what I did was I made a simulation of students signing up for classes. And bottom line, what I found was, under this general scenario that they had, you needed about 125% seats compared to students. I think that's what I found. And so what I mean there is, 100 students, to make sure you could get them all registered, you needed 125 seats in classes. Well, the problem was they expected 525 first years, and had I think it was like 535 seats. Okay, so I voiced my concern. Okay, I voiced my concern. President said we have it under control. I thought, no, you don't. But so what ended up happening was they ended up, instead of not 525 first years, for whatever reason, they had a really low recruiting year. I mean, they had gotten somewhere around 500 or 520 or whatever. This was a very reasonable number, but they got, it was right around 400. Okay, now 125% would be 500 seats, and in the fall, I was told I was right. So that was a nice feeling, because what they found was that those 400 students, even with the 535-ish seats that they had back here, I think that's about what they had, it was tight. It was difficult for a few students, not too many, to register for a full load. And so the person who was in charge of all this, not the president, but somebody else at the college, was a friend of mine. And so that fall, after all the registration was done and so forth, hey, that was a great feeling. Well, sort of. I mean, and because they had such a low recruiting class, they were able to do it. But it's nice when you get some validation on a model like that, and so that was an interesting simulation and model, and it appears to have worked, which is always good, because you may have a model that it sounds good, but it doesn't actually work.